Okay, so today I wanted to talk about two talking points within the Minecraft community and discuss my personal takes on them. So let's start off with the first one, which is the combat. So obviously it's been a while now since the new combat, which isn't really new anymore. But I mean, I'm going to just immediately state my opinion on it, which is that I much prefer the new combat to the old, like, spam clicking sort of combat. Now, I have a number of reasons for this, but I should start off by saying that it is very biased. Like, my reason for preferring it is because I'm just better with the new style of PvP, or new style of combat, or whatever you want to call it, than I am with, well, the old style. Now, I'll acknowledge, obviously, the old style, it requires skill. I'm not saying that, it's just spam clicking or whatever, because I know that a lot of, people who prefer the old style of combat will often point out that, oh, it does require skill or anything like that. I'm not, by any means, discrediting that or, acting as though it doesn't require skill, because I know that, because I'm not good at it. And so, obviously, it requires some skill, because if not, I'd just be able to spam my mouse and win, which I can't. So, there you have it. As well as that, though, I think there is still an element of that, though. I think to be good at the old style of PvP, a lot of the top players, they had, special clicking methods which would help them click quicker. And I just think that's not a game mechanic. That's a real-life mechanic. And some of them, jitter clicking, is straight up just bad, for your own health. It can hurt your hand in the long term, which just isn't a good thing. You don't want that. So, in my opinion, I think the changing of the combat is a good thing. As well as that, though, I know that a lot of people will rightly acknowledge that the current style of combat isn't perfect, and that is completely true. At the end of the day, you can just spam crit if you're good enough at it and win pretty much every fight. And then as well as that, axes are entirely overpowered, where if you hit one crit, you've pretty much got half, or sometimes in some cases, depending on what style of PvP you're doing, you could literally just kill someone with one hit with one good timed axe crit. And that's not really that fun. So, essentially, I think, in terms of this as a talking point, I know a lot of people when they're saying that, oh, we should go back to the old style of PvP. I don't personally agree with that, but I also agree that maybe combat does need a bit of a tweak, because the thing that I like the most about new combat is the fact that every weapon feels different. There is a different element to them, and that's purely just based off of attack speed. When you're swinging an axe, it is slower than when you swing a sword, or even a pickaxe is slower than a sword, but faster than an axe, for example. But then the benefit of using an axe is that, again, if you hit the crit, then you're going to get a lot of damage. And I think that's one of the big things to me, is that it makes other weapons actually usable, this update. Or, I know it's an old update, but again, this combat makes a bunch of weapons usable that weren't previously usable, because if you weren't using a sword in old combat, you were basically just using an axe because of the fact that you just found an axe before it. For example, if you were playing Hunger Games in old-style Minecraft, old combat Minecraft, I mean, you would be using a stone axe because you basically couldn't find a wooden sword. Or you'd be using an iron axe because the best sword you could find was a wooden sword. You would be using, likely, a stone sword over an iron axe, because there's kind of just no difference between the two in the old-style combat. Whereas in modern combat, if you saw an iron axe versus a stone sword, a lot of people would probably pick the iron axe. But the stone sword has its uses, it's quicker. And so, it's entirely down to preference and different playstyles. Again, I acknowledge that there's still a lot of problems with it, but, I'll just say now, I prefer it. And, if that's a controversial opinion, then I apologize to all you old PvP enjoyers, but that's just my opinion. Okay, and so the next point, and I suppose the final point that I want to talk about, because I've only got two that I actually wanted to talk about, is I often see this thrown about by the community, and it's a fair complaint to have, and it's about the game becoming too complicated. Now, I understand this as someone who hasn't really played a lot of the game until about last year. For ages, I'd only played, really a lot of Minecraft until about 2014. Then I still played it, but, not much. I barely played single player, and I just kind of played with my friends every now and then. For the most part, though, I just didn't play Minecraft. I didn't really watch much Minecraft content or anything like that. And then in about 2023, I really got back into it, and there's a lot that has changed, obviously. And so, would I say that the game is too complicated? No. But, like, do I understand what people mean when they say that the game is now too complicated or it's lost its appeal? The whole appeal of Minecraft is that it's supposed to be simple? I kind of get that and understand why people might say that, because there is a lot of things in Minecraft now, which I think some people aren't even really aware of everything. And that's fair enough, but I think that is also the exact reason why I don't think it's a problem. Because the thing with Minecraft is that you can kind of do whatever you want with it. You know, if you just want to go in a creative world and build a house, you can do that. There's no one stopping you from doing that. There's like a statistic that says that like the vast majority of people who've played Minecraft haven't beaten the Ender Dragon. Hell, I hadn't done it solo until I did it on my survival series. So that kind of just sums that up, is that hardly anyone actually does play the game in single player in the way that I suppose it was intended to be played, because of the fact it's a sandbox game. And so do what you want with it is essentially what the developers want you to do. But at the same time, I think adding extra stuff, like, I don't know, they've added the trial chambers recently. I played them. They were a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the trial chambers. And I've still got to do the ominous trial chambers, or the ominous trials, or whatever they call them. That seems really cool and more difficult. And again, I look forward to doing that. But as well, like, you know, they've had the Nether update. Maybe they'll do an End update at some point. But, like, the Nether update, it added so much more stuff to the Nether, which was previously just a boring wasteland with very little to it. You basically just had to go there to get to the end, to beat the Ender Dragon, then kind of nothing. Maybe you used it as, like, a place to farm certain materials, or because you wanted to get quartz or certain materials that you could only get through the Nether, or they were easier to get in the Nether. But for the most part, there just wasn't much, like, reason to go to the Nether, other than the fact that it's just there. You know, you need it to go to the end or whatever. Now, there is a reason to go to the Nether because of the fact it's just got a lot of cool stuff. There's more loot in there. You've got the bastions, you've got all these cool little additions that they've added. And so, why would you not want to go there? So yeah, like, with all of the additions, though, that they have made, like I say, I think the vast majority, they're pretty much just optional things. They've added extra biomes. Now, of course, if you spawn in one of these biomes where you're not really familiar with everything that goes on in this biome, or maybe there's a mob that's exclusive to this biome that you just don't see elsewhere, I can understand why people might say it's, I suppose, more complicated or anything like that, but I don't think it's such a bad thing. At the end of the day, if you want to play old-style Minecraft, it is always there available in the launcher. And so, it's one complaint where when people say Minecraft has got too complicated, I don't really agree. I agree that yes, okay, there is a lot of stuff now, and I don't claim to understand everything. There is things within Minecraft that I probably don't know about, and when I say probably, I mean I absolutely don't know everything about Minecraft, and I don't claim to. I'm not even close to knowing everything about the game. But the bits that I enjoy, that's the bits that I play, and that's how it should be. There shouldn't be anyone who is forced to play a certain way, which is kind of what you were forced to do with the old style of Minecraft, because there was only so much you could do, because there was only so much content within the game. And so, essentially, I would say, to anyone who has the complaint that the game's getting too complicated, are you essentially saying that you just don't want the game to update? You just want the same game with no updates, which you can play anyway, for free, if you have Minecraft. All the updates, all the betas, all the alphas, everything, it's all there. So why the hell is it a problem that they are updating the game? Anyway, that is my takes on two, I would say, pretty big talking points. People still, to this day, will argue about whether or not the combat system is the right thing or anything like that, or if it ruined the game. I will always maintain, if the game didn't get updated like it has been over the past, well, since I've really played regularly in like 2014, if the game hadn't been updated, pretty much everyone would have gone off the game. So there's a reason I stopped playing in 2014, and the reason for that is that I was playing on Xbox, or what is now, I suppose, Bedrock Edition, but back then I would say the priority was very much Java rather than Bedrock. I don't know that that's true, but I would say it's true, personally, because I think it was like a few updates behind back then, and it just wasn't that fun once you've played it for so long, because there was only so much you could do, which is why I will always say the game needed updating. All of the updates that have come to the game have added flavour to the game, they've added stuff to do, which is a good thing, and can only be seen as a good thing, and I don't understand the people who will claim that the game was better when it was simple, because like I say, you can go back and play the so-called simpler version of it. I think a lot of people, when they say they miss the simpler version of Minecraft, more just miss the times they had on the simpler version of Minecraft. Because they were likely younger, well, they were younger, and they enjoyed the time that came with that. They enjoy the time they associate with that, more so than they actually enjoyed the game. Anyway, those are my takes on 2 of those points. If you have any other talking points that you would like to discuss, feel free to leave it in the comments. Anyway, bye.